Tasya Shalakaya Chakshramritam Yena Tasmai Gurve Namaha. Reading from the book The Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Chapter 30, Pure Love for Krishna. The difference between executing ordinary religious procedures and devotional service is very great. By executing religious rituals, one can achieve the stage of perfection of material gain, economic development, science gratification, or liberation. But the result of transcendental devotional service is completely different from such temporary benefits of the material condition. Devotional service of the Lord is evergreen and it is increasingly transcendently pleasing. Therefore, there is a gulf of difference between the result of devotional service and the result of the four goals of religious rituals. The great spiritual energy known as Jagadhari, or the superintendent of of the material world, or Mahamaya, and the material executive departmental directors, the demigods, and all of the products of the external energy of the Supreme Lord are perverted reflections of the opulence of the Supreme Lord. They are, they are practically order carriers of the Supreme Lord in the material creation and its management. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the working of the supremely powerful Superintendent Durga is just like a shadow indication of the Supreme Lord. The sun works just like the eye of the Supreme Lord. Brahma works as a reflected light of the Supreme Lord. In this way, all the demigods and excellent energy herself, Durga Devi, and different department directors are servants of the Supreme Lord in the material world. In the spiritual world, there is another energy, the superior and spiritual energy or internal energy, which acts under the direction of Yogamaya. Yogamaya means the internal potency of the Supreme Lord. She also works under direction, but in the spiritual world, when the living entity puts himself under direction of this Yogamaya instead of Mahamaya, the result is that he becomes gradually causelessly a devotee of Krishna. On the other hand, those who are after material opulence and the advancement of material happiness put themselves under the care of the material energy, Mahamaya, or under the care of material demigods such as Lord Shiva and others. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is found that when the gopis of Vrindavan desire to have Krishna as their husband, they prayed for the gratification of their desire before the spiritual energy, Yogamaya. And in the Shaptasashti, it is found that King Shurata and another merchant of the name Samadhi wanted opulence of material existence according to their material mode of nature, and they worshipped Mahamaya. Therefore, one should not mistakenly equalize Yogamaya and Mahamaya. There is no difference between the holy name of the Supreme Lord and the Supreme Lord himself. Because the Lord is on the absolute platform, there is no difference between his name and himself. There are different names of the Supreme Lord, such as Paramatma, the Super Soul, Brahman, the Supreme Absolute, Srishtikarta, the Creator, Narayana, the Transcendental Lord, Rukmini, Raman, the husband of Rukmini, Gopinath, the ender of gopis, and Krishna. The Lord has different names and they have different purposes. When one understands the Supreme Lord as a creator, he is different from the aspect of Lord as Narayana. Some of the names of the Lord as a creator are the conception of the materialistic men. One cannot fully realize the essence of the Supreme Person of Godhead by understanding the name of the Creator, because this material creation is a function of the external energy of the Supreme Lord. Such a conception of God includes only the external feature of the Supreme Lord. Similarly, when we call the Supreme Lord Brahma, we cannot have an understanding of the six full appearances of the Supreme Lord. In the Brahman realization, the Supreme Lord, in the Brahman realization of the Supreme Lord, there is no realization of the six appearances in full. Therefore, Brahman realization is not complete understanding of the Supreme Lord. Not recognition of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. When we speak of the Super Soul, that is also not a full of realization of the Supreme Person of Godhead. We understand the Supreme Lord by his all-pervading nature as partial representation of his opulence. In our transcendental relationship, also, one who is a devotee of Narayana and Vaikuntha cannot realize the nature of the relationship with Krishna and Golaka Vrindavan. Now, the devotees of Krishna release their devotion service to Narayana because devotion service to Krishna is so attractive that such devotees do not desire to worship other forms. Again, the gopis of Vrindavan don't like to see Krishna as husband of Rukmini. Neither do they address him as Rukmini Raman. In Vrindavan, Krishna is addressed as Radha Krishna or Krishna, the property of Radharani. In the ordinary sense, although the husband of Rukmini and Radha Krishna are on the same level, still in the spiritual world the names are different understandings of different aspects of his transcendental personality. If somebody equalized Rukmini Raman and Radha Raman and Narayana and any other name of the Supreme Lord as all on the same level, there is a fault of overlapping taste. This is technically called rasabhasa. Those who are expert devotees do not accept such amalgamation of different conceptions and aspects of Supreme Person of Godhead. It is against the conclusion of pure devotion service. But when conceptions are scrutinizingly discriminated, many less intelligent men understand such discrimination as bigotry. Although Sri Krishna, the Supreme Person of Godhead, is super excellence and beauty, still when he is amongst the damsels of Raja, he is known as Gopijana Vallabha. Then he becomes the highest perfection stage for devotees. The devotees cannot relish the beauty of the Supreme Lord. More than this, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is confirmed that in the 10th canto, 33rd chapter, although Krishna, the son of Devaki, is super excellence, the last word of beauty, still, when he is amongst gopis, it appears he is a sublime jewel set amongst divine gold craftsmanship. Lord Chaitanya accepts this statement of the highest realization of Supreme Lord as conjugal lover. Still, he requested Ramananda Roy to advance further. At his request, Ramananda Roy remarked that this was the first time he was requested to go still further than the gopis in the matter of understanding Krishna. It has been described that there is certainly a transcendental intimacy between the damsels of Raja and Krishna, but out of all the gopis, the relationship of Sri Radharani with Krishna is conjugal love is the most perfect stage. No common man can understand the ecstasy of transcendental love between Radharani and Krishna. Neither can he understand the transcendental flavor of the transcendental love between Krishna and the gopis. But if anyone tries to follow in the footsteps of the gopis, there is a possibility of becoming situated in the higher stage of such transcendental love. Anyone who wants to be elevated to such transcendental stage of perfection should follow the footsteps of the damsels of Raja as the assistant maidservant of such gopis. Lord Chaitanya exhibited the mood of Srimati Radharani when she delegated from Dwaraka by Sri Krishna. Such a mode of transcendental love is not possible for any common man. Therefore, one should not imitate the highest perfection stage of the loving attitude exhibited by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But if somebody desires to be in that association, they may follow in the footsteps of the gopis. In the Padma Purana, it is stated that as Radharani is dear to Krishna, similarly, the Kunda, known as Radha Kunda, is also very dear to Krishna. Radharani is the only selected gopi who is dearer to Krishna than all other gopis. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 30th chapter, it is also stated that Radharani and the gopis render the highest perfection loving service to the Lord, and that the Lord is so pleased with them that he does not wish to go anywhere else or leave the company of Srimati Radharani.
Hare Krishna.
Let me stop here and let me just summarize quickly. A devotee is definitely has love for Krishna, and he definitely has the sense gratification. However, in the current material world, we as a human beings, we have to perform the religious rituals. Now, yes, there's a material gain and economic development. However, when we turn ourselves to the Lord, there is evergreen. and also it is very pleasing. We also see that the same information in the Brahma Samhita, and also in some of the earlier chapters, we see Goddess Durga at the start of the indication of Supreme Lord. Again, we also seen the sun and also the Brahma who plays their individual roles in the overall. Yeah, we see them as the servants of the Supreme Lord in this current material world. There are in this current material world, people are definitely, are covered with a cloud called Mahamaya. Yogamaya is something that you get in the transcendental in the devotional service of transcendental love, but Mahamaya is something that is totally a dark cloud which is covered, and and then definitely um, it will not they will not see the Lord. But if one is in Yogamaya, they can definitely become a devotee of Lord Krishna. We have also seen uh, in again in Srimad Bhagavatam, the gopis of Vrindavan, they wanted to become Krishna as their husband, which means they want to have him as their Lord. And since it is spiritual, it's called Yogamaya. And again, we see the Lord has different names of himself. Now, each name comes with a purpose, and definitely it is they are all I can say they are all different names, but still the supreme person of Godhead is one, which is Lord Krishna. Again, in continuation, we also see Lord Krishna as again a husband of Rukmini, but none of them address him as Rukmini Raman. As we see in Lord Krishna in Vrindavan, he addresses Radha Krishna as is the property of Radharani. While we also know about Lord Krishna, who is the supreme person of Godhead, is excellent in beauty, but when he's with dancers of Raja, he has a different name called Gopijana Vallabha. Every devotee should definitely pray to the Supreme Lord so that they can attain the highest perfection stage. We also seen definitely the same repeating again in Srimad Bhagavatam in 10th canto, in 30th chapter, and also in 33rd chapter. Although Krishna is the son of Devaki, but still he is very beauty and he's still among the gopis and he's still what is it said as the divine golden craftsmanship. So these all explained by Lord Chaitanya. They were to Ramananda Roy, and he requested Ramananda Roy to advance further in this journey, not to just stop him. This is like a research scientist who is trying to study a topic, but he want to go very deep. He should not stop at the place. He should further continue to go in deep to make sure his understanding is very accurate. Even here, we see that our love to Lord, the Supreme Lord, should also be the same. We should understand the Lord more and more and attain the highest perfection stage.